Welcome to Stories from the Center of the Universe, the podcast about the human experience.
All right, in a world that has the World Cup in North America, it just finished, and so we have officially for the last 3 days been in the most boring part of the sports fandom cycle. There's literally nothing to talk about other than a little bit of NFL football with training camp starting. And obviously, I want to talk about the semifinals in the World Cup and then the championship match. There's a lot to talk about. I know every talking head has been talking about the championship game and good versus not so good or good versus horrible in that final match. And nobody wanted to talk about the England-France game because it's if you're one of those teams, you're like, oh, wow, we came in third versus fourth. It, like, not a lot of motivation, but we'll talk about that game a little bit as well. I have to highlight that it's just Zach, Jack, and me. No Rob tonight. He's working. So the dad joke segment is not going to happen tonight. I thought about taking his place, but it's just too much pressure. Only Rob can handle that pressure. I can't handle it. All right. Let's start with the first match. I did not watch the France versus Spain match. I couldn't fit it in. But Jack, I'm guessing you watched it.
Yeah, I watched a chunk of it. Yeah, Spain they were super dominant. I mean, you saw what they did in the finals and what they held Messi to, which was nothing. And they did very, very well on Mbappe too. The team, they were getting the ball back extremely fast. That was like one of the high points that people had talked about all year, is how good their defense was and how good they were getting the ball back. And it was shown. France was easily the best team that I'd seen throughout the tournament all the way up until the semifinals. And Spain literally took them out of their comfort zone, and France just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, what I've watched of Spain, they're good. They're extremely good at every level. Their goaltender was, I think, arguably and certainly statistically the best goalie he had to be. I didn't look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Especially based on what you were saying, Jack, a week or two ago. Their defense, given the scores, their defense must be really, really good. And their midfield game and their attack, they're a smooth, mostly one-touch team. They are fun to watch. And I think the best team won the whole tournament. I don't think this was a fluky sort of thing. I don't think there was inside soccer or FIFA silliness going on like I imagine went on 4 years ago with Argentina winning the whole thing. And I was fooled into believing that Argentina was the best team 4 years ago. And maybe they were, but I wasn't picking up on any shenanigans. But, man, was I picking up on shenanigans with Argentina this year. We can talk more about that in a second. Zach, did you watch the France versus Spain match?
I did, and yeah, they were suffocating on defense. I'm looking at their bracket right now. They gave up a total of 1 goal throughout the entire bracket, not including the group stage.
Yeah, you're gonna win the whole thing if that's what you do.
Yeah, they gave a 1 goal to Belgium, and that was it.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? I don't think, is that a record?
The keeper set a record for the most time, like minutes wise, without giving up a goal. He had hit like over 500 minutes of game time.
Oh, sorry. Even in the group stage, they gave up nothing. They gave up 1 goal the entire tournament and group stage.
Yeah, he gave up 1 goal, and he had hit like over 500 minutes of game time without giving up a goal before the game and before the Belgium game.
I mean, he's obviously a good goalie, but it helps to have a stifling defense.
Yeah.
In front of you. Yeah, well, it's funny. I've seen a lot of little clips where people that don't really know much about soccer have been watching the World Cup, and they're like, one of the things that happens every single time, if there's a shot on goal and the goalie saves it, his next move after saving it is just to yell at the rest of the team about why there should not have been a shot on goal. And there's no yelling on Sunday by the Spain goalie, but once again, I'm moving ahead a little too fast. So let's move over to the other game, England-Argentina. This was the game that I realized, because I'd watched Argentina play a full game. They're thugs. Zach, your thoughts on Argentina thuggery, or am I wrong? Are they not thugs?
I'm not sure what you're talking about. Can you speak a little
Did you
more
watch
on
the
that?
Argentina-England game?
I did not know.
Did you watch the championship game?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
So all right. So Jack, make Zach smart on Argentinian soccer team thuggery.
Yeah. So after the game against England, they basically, I guess that there was some longstanding rivalry between England and Argentina. After Argentina beat England, they held up this poster. I don't know what it said because I don't speak Spanish, but it held up something. Apparently, it was like a super, super big deal, and it was like targeted towards like England, and a lot of people had a problem with it because of what was said. And I guess it's going to end up coming back on them, and they're going to get cards and stuff because of just it's against FIFA rules and stuff like that. But they couldn't do it against them in the championship, which I get. And then after the Spain and Argentina game, and Spain had won, there was a player on Argentina that literally started fighting. Like he was like 30 something, like 35 maybe, and he started fighting this 21-year-old kid out in the middle of the field, like actually throwing punches at him and stuff like that.
Whoa.
They were slapping their stomachs, like a player was running by them and they just reached their hand out and slapped them in the stomach. They would push them from behind. There was one red card play where was it Fernandez, Jack, in the championship match? He made the guy flip.
Yeah,
he was so aggressive. But let's go back to the England-Argentina game. I'll just put this out there, and Jack, I think you'll probably you would have said this too or agree with this. I think if you're a coach at any level, but especially at the highest national level, you go up 1-0 about halfway because the goal was scored around the 50th minute. You don't then just put in all your defenders, the 6'8" guy or 6'7" guy, whatever he was, and they had zero ability to score a goal after they scored their first goal. They just basically said, "We want this game to be 1-0. We're going to do everything we have to do to make it 1-0." And boy, I hope they don't score, because if they do, we're either going to extra time and or penalty kicks, because we're not going to score a second goal with the team that we put on the field in the 57th minute or whatever it was. Jack, your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought that was one of the worst things, one of the worst calls and decisions I've made by a manager in this entire tournament. I think I said it on a podcast previously, but any team that sits back for 30 plus minutes, if you don't have to, like the U.S. had to do it, and they still scored a goal against Bosnia when they were up 1-0 because they went down to 10 men. But if you don't have to do it, then I don't understand why you're doing it. Like, I understand that you want to protect your lead, but with a team that good, you cannot just continuously give up like just endless possession and endless shots. It makes just absolutely no sense why they would just make those changes and get rid of all your attackers. Because now you're just playing in the back half forever. You're not going to have any possession. I get that you don't want to give up a goal, but you're just inviting pressure over and over and over again.
And that's what happened. It was they condensed around their defensive area, and just it was almost like they were daring Messi to make two really good assists to one of his teammates. I mean, it was crazy. Like it almost looked like you knew that at a minimum Argentina was going to tie it up, and had a reasonably good chance of going up 2-1 or more. Like they could have put 3 or 4 goals on England if things had gone a little bit differently. I don't understand that decision. And then they've got 2, I guess, older attackmen they put in with 2 or 3 minutes left. They can't handle 10 minutes. What's going on?
Yeah, I don't understand. The changes were just too late. Like, I understand you wanted to make defensive changes. You can make defensive changes without taking all your attackers off. That's just what I didn't understand, is like the changes that you did make, it didn't prevent anything. You lost the midfield, so you're playing in your back third for 30 minutes, and you can't win that way. You can't in this tournament with the teams that are left. You're in the semifinals. You can't even hold a lead that way, and we saw it end up that way.
Yeah, I mean, and arguably the best player in the history of the sport you're letting him get in pretty close to the goal and kick a ball into his teammates that are arguably world-class players, right?
Yeah. And I will say that second goal where Messi got the ball back in the defending half from one of the backs, I 100% think that he fouled that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He scraped over the top of the foot, got the ball back. I mean, you saw him limp up, and like you see that in this game all the time is like you see the players fake injuries. I don't know how you would possibly fake an injury like that when you have a spike boot go right over your foot.
Yeah. So that's a good comment to transition to this notion of we'll never know, but Argentina seemed to get way more help than any other country to advance to the championship match. Do you think there's something to that where FIFA just said, hey, we're going to help Argentina because Messi is very marketable and we all make more money if we get Messi to the finals. And actually, once Argentina's in the finals, nobody cares. Nobody's going to fix anything in the finals. They're going to play legitimately because Messi can't go beyond the championship game.
Yeah. I would say after what happened in Qatar 4 years ago and then what I've seen in this tournament, it's really, really hard to say anything otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. If you're just paying attention and you look at the stats, you're like, yeah, the fix was in to get Messi back to the finals.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's so much money involved in the sport that it's kind of hard to ignore. It's kind of difficult to just blindly assume that there's nothing going on outside of it, especially when so much money is to be made by having a guy like Messi who's been in a world's class star for almost 20 years, and then the new kid, Lamine Yamal.
Yeah, I would have rather seen Spain. I would have rather seen Argentina out of the semifinals. I wish they hadn't made it that far. But England helped them get to the championship game. There's no question that was some pretty bad coaching. I guess that guy's won that way before, or maybe he's won that way a lot. And so he's like, hey, we've got a reasonably good chance of winning if I make this move that I've made 150 times. Or he had a brain cramp and just did it, even though he's never tried that approach before. I don't know. It's weird. Let's talk about back to Argentina thuggery. I mean, Zach, they turned their back during the presentation of the championship trophy. They stood on the field and turned their back.
I'm familiar with Argentinian thuggery. In F1, there's an Argentinian driver. He's like a 20-year-old kid. He seems like a nice guy, but his fans are insane. I mean, if something happens on the track where they don't like what happened to their favorite driver, they're sending death threats online to other drivers, other teams. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, it's a sport, guys. Why are we all getting so excited about it? Like, you should be happy when your team wins. You should be unhappy when they don't win, but you shouldn't threaten death.
South America is very passionate about sports, particularly soccer.
Yeah, I get that, but I don't remember Brazil acting this way. I don't remember Colombia, Uruguay. I don't remember them acting this way.
I think there was a war, like a very minor war fought between two South American countries in like the 80s over a soccer game. It was like Honduras and somebody else.
Well, I don't want to get into stereotypes of continents or regions of the world, but I mean that. If they called the Argentinian games the same as they called every other game, I think you would have had a lot of players for Argentina not in the finals or not even in the semis.
Yeah, there was a 4-day military conflict between El Salvador and Honduras in 1969.
So Central American, but the point is Latin America.
Yeah, that happened after a FIFA qualifying match.
Yeah, soccer.
They're passionate.
Yeah, there used to be a sport that was like half or a third lacrosse, a third basketball, and a third soccer. And really the way lacrosse moves and soccer moves is very similar. But I think it was in either Central America or Northern South America where the losing team like their leader, the captain, was killed after the match.
Oh my! There was a Colombian player who, I don't know when this was, like 30 plus years ago. He owned gold accidentally, and they killed him.
I mean, it's not funny for that guy or his family, but I don't know the guy. So
Yeah,
it's so insane. It stirs up laughter. I mean,
it's
wild.
absurd.
It's completely absurd. Well, and look, back to the FIFA fixing things for Argentina. I mean, look, the professional leagues, I'm not going to say which ones, but you guys, I think, will gravitate to where my head is. I mean, the big city teams, and yes, they drive more money, they have more people, the economy's stronger, but there's a salary cap, and all the teams can most of the teams generally manage the salary cap really well. But how come the really big city teams tend to win the Super Bowl? And there are obviously exceptions. Tampa Bay winning a couple times is a huge exception to that. But I mean, has Cincinnati ever won the whole thing? Cleveland, Jacksonville. Oh, out of the Florida teams, the most podunk area, least exciting area out of the 3 pro football teams has never won one. The other 2 have won a few. You get my point. All right, Jack, is there a recap you can give us for the World Cup, like the whole smash?
I'll do my best. Argentina was 1 game away from returning back to glory, or keeping glory, I guess you could say. But Spain was able to take that away, and they were definitely the best team throughout the tournament, especially defensively. France and England, that was probably the most exciting game I watched of the tournament, just because of the amount of goals that were scored. It was just super enjoyable to see them run up and down the field. Although I do think France probably should have won. They left a lot on the table, but you can't go down 4-0 in any game, and especially not in soccer, and expect to come back and win. The U.S. needs to install camps around the country and make it free, and just try to work on players getting better and better and better each time. But all in all, I think it was a pretty okay performance. Mexico did well. Canada was not great for the host countries. I'm trying to think if there was a team that stood out amongst the rest. Cape Verde was fun to watch, them getting through. Put up some good battles. I like the new format of the round of 32, adding in that extra level and giving teams more opportunity to get in and play through. Holland was great to watch throughout the tournament, and all the fans that came through, I thought it made it very, very exciting. It was like a college football game with all these fans from international countries. Everyone had great pride and super, super loud everywhere they went.
Yeah, I think from a typical fan experience, regardless of what country you're from, I think it seemed to be a very good experience, if not a great experience for all those fans. Obviously, once your team loses, it's a bummer. But if you think back, the average of your experiences coming to this country, or being an American who got a chance to go to a match or two, you would say you did really well. And by the way, I'm sorry I didn't bring up the France-England game. Was it 4-0 before half?
Yeah, it was 4-0 at half. England was up.
Wow. So I didn't watch that because I guess I've just lost track of it being a game, because it's so unusual to have third play fourth. They used to do that in the I think it was in the NCAA basketball tournament. The men's, they would have a third versus fourth game. The 2 losers in the Final Four would play each other to declare an official third place team. They obviously don't do that anymore. My guess is the coaches just said, we don't really care about third versus fourth place. Just go out, have a bunch of fun, and just run up and down the field. And Jack, it sounds like that's what happened.
Yeah, it's definitely what happened. A lot of backup players in too. So you never really know what you're going to get with that. And I mean, they're all professionals. So England was 4-0 at half. France came back. It was 3-4, 5-3. And then England was able to just keep the lead and ended up winning 6-4. They brought on Bellingham, who was England's best player of the tournament by far, and he was able to sink the final goal to win it.
Nice. Yeah, looking back at the tournament, besides cheering for the U.S., I was I would have been happy with any team winning except Argentina.
I would tend to agree.
Zach, pull up, not now, but pull up some YouTube videos on just Argentina's behavior just against Spain, just that final match.
The players, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's
okay.
one guy. It wasn't the head coach, but it's one of the support staff or maybe an assistant coach. He was one of their moves is to put their hand on your throat, on your neck, like it's almost like a choking thing.
Yeah.
Somebody not in an Argentina uniform, but with the Argentinian team, was choking. I can't remember his name, but number 10 for Spain. And I'm like, what is happening right now? I guess that's acceptable behavior in Argentina. It's not acceptable behavior in New Jersey.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Super crazy. Zach, any final thoughts on the World Cup that you didn't watch much of?
Yeah, I wish I got a chance to watch more of it. Unfortunately, I've got unorthodox work hours, so a lot of the games were at times when I was working. But I was following it most of the way through. I'm happy to see that the U.S. got farther than they've gotten in the past. Hopefully in 4 years we can get even further. But yeah, it was fun to follow.
Yeah, the hoping part. I think we all hope that they go farther.
It's
I think
not an expectation, but
yeah, Jack's comment about some changes they could make that makes the national team, or at least the development of younger players that lead to like competitive teams, and it just feels like we're not going to be competitive. Like I can't imagine us putting a team together like Spain has this last time around.
No,
I just don't think it's going to happen.
Not unless we invest more into soccer as a country, but that won't happen for another 20 years probably.
Yeah, I don't think we know how to get our act together for a national team, right? All of our big sports are either professional or college level. This whole club concept is completely foreign to us.
Yeah.
I mean, a real club where, hey, you come to the club as a 5 or 6 year old and we educate you and develop your soccer skills. Until we do that, we're just not going to be competitive.
Yeah.
All right. Anything going on in the NFL that I've missed?
Training camp started today for Carolina and Arizona. They're starting a week early because they're playing in the Hall of Fame game, which is a week earlier than every other preseason game. Other than that, not much. It's been pretty dry. We will be hearing a lot more over the coming weeks, though, with all the teams reporting. I think rookies have reported in the past few days for most teams, but veterans don't report until next week.
All right, Zach, just a last soccer comment, then we'll come back to the NFL. I want you to know that you're probably going to receive lots of sports cards when I leave this earth. And one of them is Mbappe. And I'm telling you that I should either sell it the next time the World Cup's around, because Mbappe's 27. He's got more time in the World Cup, but obviously 27 to 31, he should be more athletic at 27 than 31, but he'll still be really, really good at 31. I'm either going to sell it 4 years from now, or you sell it 50 years from now, or you pass it on to your kid.
All right.
But I have my first official uber famous soccer sports card. All right, back to the NFL. Jack, how are you feeling about the Steelers? Still feeling like what did you say? What did you say the record was going to be for them when we predicted?
I'm pretty sure I said like 9-8 or 10-7. My dad was like 11-6.
Your dad's always going to be that optimistic. And Zach, I think you and I said 6 or 7 wins, and I'm not trying to do the 6-7 thing. It just so happened that's what we said.
I think I said
did you say 8 and I said 7?
7 or 8, yeah.
Yeah, I think you maybe said 8 and I said 7. Yeah. Jack, should Tampa Bay pay Baker Mayfield?
I mean, I would say so. I don't, unless y'all are able to get like a really high draft pick, but I don't know. I think y'all are too good to get a high draft pick.
Yeah, I don't know why we haven't already paid him. Like, what are we waiting for? We're not going to get a stud in a trade. We're not going to get a high draft pick, to your point. And we don't have awesome backups. It's not like we have Steve Young to Joe Montana as a backup. We just I don't know what we're doing. Just pay him.
Yeah, we need to pay him. I don't know what we're doing. I don't care if we throw the bag at him. It doesn't matter.
Well,
We have
I
no
would
other
hope
choice.
Baker is like, hey, yeah, this is probably my best shot at making a really big contract, but I'm not going to hurt the team so badly that it hurts our ability to win games.
He took 2 ridiculously friendly team deals or ridiculously team friendly deals over his last 2 contracts. He had that 1 year thing where people thought he was done. He balled out. Then he took an extremely team friendly 3-year deal, and that's obviously expiring soon. And that's where this whole contract discussion is coming up. But I think we owe him a little bit, and we should pay him.
Yeah, look, I learned something. So one of the sports, I sound like such a dork when I say this. One of the sports card places that I go, the guy that's usually working the register is a Tampa Bay fan. There are like 5 or 6 of us apparently, Zach, in Hanover County. Now that wasn't true when I was a kid. And he said he saw something where Baker had confided in one of his teammates or maybe a couple of guys, and he asked him not to share this information at all, ever. And then he told, I guess he told somebody, it might have been Levante. It was one of his teammates, and maybe if you're retired, you don't give a rip about betraying his trust as much. And it's a story about how tough Baker is and how prideful he is, and he does not play the victim, which I'm a huge fan of. Apparently, he took a hit in the 7th game. I don't remember who we were playing, but I remember he had 2 or 3 really physical games, especially towards the end of those games, and he had a bruise by like the day after that hit that basically had his entire inside part of his upper arm was black. It was so bruised. It was like the worst bruising you could possibly get, I guess on any part of your body, but especially that part of the body. And he said, I can't throw the ball. He basically said it was bruised so badly that it affected his ability to throw the ball. And the eye test, Zach, you and I watched a lot of their games. I think we maybe watched all of their games. He was a different quarterback after week 7, after that hit.
Yeah. He was in MVP conversations for the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it was obvious that he was hurt if you watched their games. I mean, if you go back and look at some of the stats, Emeka Egbuka obviously had a really good start to the season and then kind of fell off. But part of that was because he had the highest uncatchable ball rate in the entire NFL in the back half of the season.
Yeah.
And part of that was him. Well, not part of that was him, but I mean, all of it was from Baker's injury.
Yeah, Jack, I'm not trying to bait you with this next question, but I was watching some little clip, and these 3 guys, they're about y'all's age, and they're like, I can name 3 wide receivers that are better than Marvin Harrison Jr., and then they kept going, and they got up to 82.
Yeah, there's no way.
Yeah, he's better than 81 other. Well, he's not worse than 81 other receivers, right? Or 82.
He's got to be top 50 at least.
Yeah, I put him top 50. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
What do you think happened with him? Because I thought he had real promise. Why is he not a top 10, top 15 receiver?
I think a lot of times, I mean, you see it sometimes, but a lot of teams like make it an effort to give these guys the ball. So like when you saw Jamar come out, I mean, obviously Jamar had Joe Burrow. Marvin Harrison Jr. played with Kyler Murray and Jacoby Brissett. So obviously there's a skill gap, and they're in the NFL for a reason. I get it, but there's an obvious skill gap that you see. Justin Jefferson, like he's going to get the ball thrown to him 10, 12 times a game, even if it's just ducks up in the air. It's just go get it. And so I think he battled some injury. I just don't think that the coaching staff has ever been somewhat good there. I think they've always been bad in some form or fashion. I wouldn't even say average. Like you have your average staffs that are around, but I couldn't name you a head coach that they've had. They just had a VP get suspended by the NFL. So it's from top to bottom. The whole organization just is not good.
All right, well let's have a quick debate. What is the worst NFL franchise? Because some people would argue it's Cleveland.
Are we talking of all time?
I'm talking about it's in your lifetimes. Both.
Oh, in my lifetimes, it might be Cleveland, but Arizona is I mean, they've been in the NFL since what, like the 30s, and they've never won.
They're the oldest team, I think.
Yeah, and they've never won ever.
They only came close one time, and Santonio Holmes had something to say about that.
Yeah,
I think it has to be Cleveland.
Yeah, you can't have that many starting quarterbacks in that short a period of time and say that you're not the worst.
Like
Yeah.
the turnover rate is crazy. I don't know how you don't have a QB coach in there that knows something like what he's doing at all.
and then they won a playoff game, and then immediately got rid of their quarterback. It's malpractice.
You signed Deshaun Watson to the biggest deal at the time.
Yeah, it's absurd.
What he hadn't had a good season in 2 or 3 years, and then he's like clearly has some issues off the field. And when he did play, he didn't look good before they gave him that contract. I mean, it's maybe the dumbest thing in the last 10 years of the NFL.
Yeah, the franchise is a joke.
Yeah, I work with a guy that's a big Browns fan. He goes, "Man, we're going to win 13 games this year." I'm like, "No, you're not."
With who? That quarterback?
Yeah, Myles Garrett's in LA
Sure.
now. You don't have a quarterback. Like,
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
They'll be lucky to win 3 games next year.
Yeah, if they get to 8 and 9, I'd be shocked.
If they win more than 4 games, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, nice. All right, Jack, any new controversies in Pittsburgh or anything interesting to talk about?
Not that I'm aware of, which is probably the first time in a decade.
All right, so Aaron Rodgers and what's his face, the head coach that's clearly brought in just because Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback. And they won a Super Bowl together. We've talked about that. I just like Pittsburgh just seems to be making these short-sighted moves. And it's if I was a fan, if I were you, Jack, I would be at a minimum highly annoyed with them. And on the other end, I'd be very, very mad at what they've been doing.
I'm definitely annoyed. I thought that the coaching cycle this year was actually really good compared to coaching cycles we've had in the past with all the young minds coming out, whether it's offensive or defensively. So I don't know why we're going with McCarthy. McCarthy's going to be around for like 3 to 5 years, if that. And then we're just going to repeat cycle, and we're going to just be here with we're going to be looking for a new head coach with a worse team.
I hope. I mean, look, Rodgers is going to do whatever he's going to do this season, and then there's no way he plays more than another year. But I guess I say no way. I guess it's possible.
There's no way.
I can't imagine he plays two seasons from this point forward. But I mean, you and your dad have talked about it a lot. Please bring somebody in that knows how to develop quarterbacks and focus almost their entire attention on Will Howard. Just do it.
I said the same thing about CJ Stroud. How are you in the NFL and you don't have an NFL quarterback coach? Like, these guys coming out of college are arguably much better than they have ever been. And then you see the decrease or the decline in the way that they play, and it's because of the way that things are structured in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, money is king for sure. I guess a lot of people say, and Zach, you and I have said this before, oh, Tyler Shuck had a good end to the season last year, but teams are going to watch a ton of tape and they'll fix that, and he'll struggle more than he did the last few games of last season. And I'm like, well, if that's true, if it's that level of mastery and thinking and strategizing, why can't you do that with quarterback development? Why can't you find 32 people or 32 small teams that can develop 32 quarterbacks to that level, or 64 quarterbacks, or what? You get my point.
It's a lost art. I don't know. I don't know why it's happened. I don't know why they're foregoing the development phase of quarterbacks. Part of it is I feel like coaches think that they're on a time crunch. They can't afford to spend 2 or 3 years having a rookie sit behind somebody who's more knowledgeable and have that time to learn. Because if you have a few bad seasons in a row in the NFL, you're gone. And then you got to spend a few years climbing back up. But at the same time, you can't just throw these guys to the wolves like they have been. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I think if I'm a good OC or DC and I'm in the conversation for head coaching jobs, and let's just say 3 teams are interested in me, and one of them has a track record of giving like a lot of rope to the coach, i.e. Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, or every coach that's ever coached in Pittsburgh. We're now on what, number 4? Like, I want to go to a place that maybe not is as extreme as Pittsburgh is, but will give me a solid 5 years, and that includes developing our first round quarterback that we took. And we're not going to. I hope. I was about to call Raiders the Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders. I hope they do that with Mendoza. And if they rush him in because of some concern that the coach isn't going to be there 2 or 3 years from now, it's just dumb. It's super.
I think Mendoza's in a perfect spot to sit for a year. I think Kirk Cousins is the perfect guy to have as a bridge season QB.
Yeah, and then do you start Mendoza in his second year? And maybe the answer is yes.
I think that's the right answer. But it's also the Raiders, so they'll either start him right away or start him 4 weeks into the season or whatever, and go from there. But
do y'all know how many years Steve Young sat behind Joe Montana back in the day? It was several, and then Rodgers sat behind Favre for a long time.
Mahomes sat his entire rookie year. Brady sat.
Yeah, it's the evidence is there. It's amazing all 32 teams don't pick up on it. Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, all right, there it is. The World Cup's over. We're in late July. There's nothing much to talk about, so we're just making up stuff to talk about with the NFL right now. Anyway, it's good to chat with y'all. Sorry you don't get 3 dad jokes from Rob Dole.
Sorry, we'll get them next week.
All right, y'all have a good one.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd also really appreciate if you'd rate and review us. You can find us at scodupodcast.com.